What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be doing a high drop fade with a slight drop, and I'm going to show you guys my exact steps how I do to achieve this look. Other than that, let's get right into it. First, let's start off by wetting his hair. I get it real damp, and we're going to be doing the horseshoe part because we're going to be trimming down his sides. I'm going to go for that like UK look type fade, a nice tight blend, and just fade into a lot of bulk. For those who don't know what the horseshoe part is, it's the way we're gonna part it on top. It's gonna look like a horseshoe. That way we can get all the hairs on the sides and trim them down and do some gradual blending. As you can see, I'm gonna just go all around his head with a slight drop in the back. That way, to his head shape. That way it don't look real funky. Like if you take it up too high, it's gonna look real tall on the back. So make sure you give it a nice little drop, that way it blends in nice to the bottom and to the top. So right there, what I use now, after I do all the shear work, I'll put in some hair serum. That one I showed you guys is the Elegance hair serum. It can be any type of hair serum, just make sure you rub it in nice and good in there. So usually I part it as well in the front for his bangs. That way I'll trim them up, and then it makes it a little bit more easier for me. But when I first started off, this is how I would do it. I'll just once I do the shear work, I would texture it with my shears just like that in the front. I don't really have to part it, and it worked out good for me. And I'm just showing you guys how I did it when I started. Once we finish the top, we're gonna go ahead and go with the number 2 open. I usually close it about a quarter, but you can keep it open, and we just go straight up. Not really taking it. We're taking it about the parietal ridge, and we're just gonna keep it right underneath there and go straight up. Not really dig in. That way we can blend nicely into the bulk and keep it heavy on the sides. As you guys can see, I'm just going straight up with it, taking down the bulk on the sides and going straight up. We don't really got to dig in. What we're doing here as well is we're just getting our canvas ready, our area ready to start blending. So once we do that, we're going to go with our thinning shears and our comb, and we're just going to connect the side to the top and go straight up. This is, we're not really digging into it as well, going into it. We're just gonna go straight up with it, and we're just connecting the sides. Once you see it blend in, just leave it alone. Don't really mess with it. Once it starts debulking pretty nicely. I learned this from Chris Basio, I believe. He's a dope YouTuber barber. If you guys know him, you guys know he's crazy about all this haircutting and entrepreneur stuff. He's a dope overall barber, and if you guys could tag him in the comments, that'd be greatly appreciated for me. Notice my comb is going straight up. It's not really digging into it. I can't stress that enough. You guys just go straight up with it, and everything will fall into place if you guys just go straight up with it. Just leave it alone once it's blended. Do not hesitate and go too crazy over it. So now what we're doing, I'm setting in my first bald guideline, and we're gonna start off. We're gonna do a bald blend or bald fade. Just we'll go straight across, and then we're gonna give it about a drop in the back. That way it contours to his head. Hit it with the shaver, and do not hesitate, go all the way to the line, but do not put a lot of pressure on this because it will be hard to take out the line. just let the clipper do the work, the trim or the shaver, and you should be good with that, man. And do not stress it over it either as well. A lot of people ask me how I take off the bottom so smooth, the bottom line, and to be honest, it's just because of the shaver too. I don't put heavy pressure on it, and it helps me out a lot. So now, once we finish that up, our first step after that is our one guard, lever fully closed, and we create about an inch guideline. Just make sure you go all the way across. Keep these guidelines neat. If you guys do not keep them neat, you will have a terrible blend. What you really want to do is just keep it as neat as possible, and do not rush it, man. Take your time. When you're learning, you gotta just take your time and not really try to be like a super fast barber. Learn the craft first, and then you can implement other steps or whatever you gotta do. Once we finish that out, we're gonna do the exact same step, but with our half guard, lever fully closed, and you're gonna copy the same exact thing. A lot of people ask me why don't I just jump to the half guard, but to me, I did do that for a while, like when I first started learning these steps. But to me, it was it came out a lot smoother when I did these steps right after another. So the whole time is because when I detail, I don't want to detail a lot. So what this allows me is to have to not really spend a lot of time detailing and just doing the steps and making sure everything looks as smooth as possible. Because in my other videos, I tell you guys that it's basically like a sanding thing, like we're sanding down the hair instead of really flicking out a lot. The more you sand it, you sand the hair down, and it's gonna look super buttery, and that's what a lot of people want to learn how to cut like. And I agree, that was me too as well, and this is what, how I achieved that look. As you guys can see, I jumped back down to my clippers closed, and we're gonna take out the bottom line, the first initial guideline we made after we do the half guard. And I use the Oster fast feeds because I can hear they do have the ceramic blade. I do use these because I can hear every little hair it's chipping away. But any clipper will work. It don't have to be Oster fast feeds, but I do recommend them if you guys have trouble like detailing or taking out the bottom line. These will be like your lifesavers. I do keep the lever closed, and I do open it about a quarter sometimes. Usually with it closed, it comes right off, and not completely off, because I'll come back with this step right here, and we'll just take out the remaining, but it won't be much and it won't be too hard. It'll come right off. And you can use any zero gap trimmers. I do use the Babyliss, but I recommend also the Andis or well, honestly, any zero gap trimmer will work fine. So now that we got all the bottom line erased, we're gonna come with our 1.5 guard, lever fully closed, and we're gonna create another inch guideline right on top of that one. Also, like I said before, keep these guidelines as neat as possible, and you will get the best results. If your guidelines are gonna be all over the place, your blend's gonna be all over the place. To me, I like to keep it like a strip. I don't know why, I've always been like that. I like to keep it just one solid strip. So once we finish that step, you're gonna go back to your one guard, lever fully open, and you're gonna copy the same thing. We're gonna start fading down now. You're gonna take your right on the 1.5 guideline, and you're gonna keep it, you're still gonna be gliding your blade, not really flicking, just keep it flat and just go all the way to the top and go all throughout his head. So now we close it halfway, and we're gonna do basically almost the same thing again, almost completely all the way to the top, but just a little bit underneath that. Remember, keep the blade flat and just glide it through. Now we close it all the way. You're gonna attack that middle ghost line now. Just keep the blade flat. I know I keep saying that, but I just want you guys to learn how to keep the blade flat and just glide it through. It's not gonna completely take it off, but it's gonna completely almost take off mostly all of it. It's just gonna leave a tiny little ghost line. Once we finish that up, you go with your half guard, lever fully closed, and you're gonna use your corners right here. And right here you can give it more of a flick, but if you don't have to, you can still keep the blade flat. And you're just gonna take out the remaining ghost line in the middle. Do not push the fade up. Do not go too high because you will push up the fade. So just flick it. If you like, you can open it, but I usually just keep it closed and everything just comes together. Then we're gonna jump to our number 2 guard, lever fully open, and I close about a quarter, and we're just gonna go straight up again. We're basically connecting the top to the bottom now, to the fade. Not really digging in, just going straight up. You can, not really a guideline, but you can do about 1/2 inch and just go straight up. Like keep it flat and then go straight up, about 1/2 inch. And then you jump to your 1.5 guard, lever open, close about a quarter, which is one little notch, or in your walls or your handles, just close it about a quarter and just go right underneath that and just go straight up with it, glide it through, and it should connect everything together. So now right here what I'm doing, I go back down to my number 1. Basically my blend is done already. I'm just detailing at this point. So any little spot you see, go jump to your 1 and you can close it, open it, whatever you got to do to take out those little dark spots. But it will be way easier to detail now since everything's like sanded down instead of really flicked out. If you notice on the fade, there's a lot of holes, like little light spots, and I feel like that's what makes a blend like inconsistent. So just make sure you keep the blade flat when detailing as well, and clean everything, all the little dark spots you see, and you should be good. Right here I jump back to my no guard. I'm just using my corners. Make sure you use your corners when you detail. That way you don't create another lighter spot. Right here as well, I go back to my thinning shears, and we're just gonna take out the little darker spots. Wherever you see it, just leave it alone. Once you're done, just leave it alone and you'll be good. A lot of people mess up by they get stuck in one spot. Once you see it come out, just leave it alone. So that's basically how I do my high drop fades. And all I got left now to do is put the lineup on, and I do use enhancements, the Barber Pencil. I've been using Kiss Express 1/2 with water, and everything I use will be listed down below. That way you guys can check them out and get the things I use if you guys want to use them as well. Everything will be in the description box. Other than that, I'm gonna show you guys this side, but I'm gonna fast forward. That way you guys can see the final product, and it's gonna be obviously the same thing. So this is what my client came in looking like. This was the before, just in case you guys forgot, and this is what I came up with. I think this cut came out super dope. The messy look with the fade came out super dope to me. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you guys get alerted every time I drop. I am dropping every Monday for you guys, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in on my videos and wants to learn something. That's the overall goal. Follow me on my social medias at Noel Blends, my TikTok, my Instagram. DM me on there if you guys have any questions or wherever. Comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys in every way possible. Other than that, I'm Noel Blends, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.